Hello, my name is Troy. I am 41 years old. I'm going to be doing a vlog, first time ever, never done it before. Public speaking's never been a strong point of mine, but I'm doing this because I have a bicuspid aortic valve, and in researching and everything, I stumbled someone on YouTube that had my exact same situation, my exact same age, and I found that watching it really helped me get through some difficult times. It helped me understand that I wasn't the only one going through this, and other people do have gone through it before. So there's not going to be any editing. This is no special video in any aspect. It's about just getting information out and trying to help. Like I said, maybe just one person, and it'll all be worth it. So going back, I'm a father of two kids, 10 years old, 13 years old. Husband, I have an amazing, beautiful wife who is, I'll get into that later on, who is just really my rock in this whole thing in helping me get through it. I'm a pool guy. I'm a basic, ordinary guy. I'm a coach. I coach a lot of sports. I love being around kids. I love trying to impact kids' lives and really helping them out too, which is another thing that I'll get into later on, has really helped me pass the time. I have amazing, amazing friends. Again, I will not be able to stress enough how important it is to have good friends and have people there for you that you can reach out to. It's extremely important. I live a very healthy life. And listen, so bottom line is, I was born with a bicuspid aortic valve. Okay. It's something I didn't know about until I was 33 years old. So 8 years ago, I was in seeing a doctor randomly about just getting blood work done. And the doctor he just kind of made a weird face. He's like, "You ever been checked for a heart murmur?" I'm like, "No, I mean, heart murmur, no." He's like, "Oh, I definitely hear something." I was like, "Doc, I played sports my whole life, played college ball, played professional baseball." I'm like, never been told that. I've had very extensive physicals before you ever signed a contract in baseball. You always had to go through pretty extensive surgery, pretty extensive physicals. And I'm like, "I've never been told that before." He's like, "Listen, I'm going to get you to a cardiologist. Let's get it checked out." I was like, "Okay, no problem." So, long story short, he gets me to a cardiologist and start doing some testing. And yeah, sure enough, they tell me you have a bicuspid aortic valve, and you have regurgitation, which is the leaking back into the heart. Further testing showed that I had an aortic aneurysm, which is a bulging in the wall. Yeah, so since then, I've been getting routine checkups every 6 months throughout the last 8 years, in which, I honestly, early on, ignorance. I'm completely ignorant. Didn't, the doctor didn't get my attention. I went through the testing. He told me, every time I saw him, every 6 months or so, yeah, in your 50s, 60s, you're going to need surgery. It's going to have to be gotten taken care of. So I work out every day. I work in construction, very hands-on job. I coach just about every night, and I felt good. I have very little symptoms. Never surgery. I heard him. I wasn't listening. I didn't believe what he was saying. I just felt like I was kind of invincible, and I didn't really think I would need the surgery. And I think over the last couple years, he sensed that, and he was never forceful on anything. But he said, "You know what? We're getting a little closer. Why don't I introduce you to the surgeon?" And long story short, that's when the shit hit the fan, and that was my eye-opening. But I'll get back to that. So basically what happened about 6 years ago is I was at a dentist. I was getting a dental procedure, normal cleaning, and I about it's about 2 months later, I developed what I thought was the flu. I was 102 fever, in and out of urgent cares for about a week. Nobody found anything. I continued to work through it. It was during my busy season at work. Worked through it. Wound up getting fever over 103. After about 10 days, I went to the emergency room. Still hooked me up to IVs, got me some fluids, found nothing wrong. I got a call later that day. I'm sorry, the next day, saying my cultures came back positive from the ER, and they needed to see me right away. Went to the ER, and they wound up telling me that I had developed endocarditis, which is basically an infection around the heart. It gets in through the bloodstream, and if you have any heart problems, heart issues, generally infection dwells right around the heart. And what happened is it got bad, and it went undetected for almost 2 weeks. And they said that another couple of days and I could have died. So that was a very scary situation for myself and my family. Obviously, then I had two young children. But they did a TEE, transesophageal echocardiogram, and they told me at the time that it didn't do much damage, didn't see anything. But as it turns out, they do believe that helped to bring where I'm at today a little sooner. Must have done some kind of damage, because my bicuspid aortic valve was damaged a little bit during that time. So anyway, so what exactly is wrong with me? So basically, right here is your heart. Okay, at the top of it is your aorta. Okay, your aorta connects to the top of your heart, and then it pumps blood up through your body and through, that's how you produce blood to your entire body. And so where the aorta connects to the heart is supposed to be a tricuspid valve. Okay. And I was born with a bicuspid, meaning 2 leaflets, tricuspid, 3 leaflets. So basically the heart pumps up and down, up and down. So what happens is, it looks like, if you're looking down through the heart, it actually is supposed to look like a Mercedes symbol, like you see in the front of Mercedes cars. And 3 leaflets that go up and down, and basically do not allow blood back into the heart. Okay, so I'm born with 2 leaflets, so it pumps up, and when it closes, it goes, some of the blood, I'm told 60% of my blood is leaking back down into my heart. So that's what's gotten worse over the years. And what happens is, the more blood that leaks back down, the more damage you can do to your heart, which is what I've been monitoring. They've been monitoring and doing tests and taking measurements of. So basically, my heart is at the point where it's enlarging a little bit, and that's why they're saying they need to fix this, so it stops that. So basically, I'm losing blood flow, I'm losing oxygen, and also what it also had done is it has part of the damage also was an aortic aneurysm, which is the bulging of the wall right here in the aorta, which they're going to fix while they're in there. So that's where I'm at. So basically what the aortic valve does is it separates the heart's main pumping chamber, the left ventricle, and the main artery that supplies oxygen-rich blood throughout the body. Okay, so that is faulty now, and something that a lot of people don't get done until they're in their 60s, 50s. So I'm just unfortunate that I'm 41 years old and getting this done. So I was told that. So now going back to what I was saying, so I was told that, probably told that a couple times, but didn't really look into it as I should. I should have done earlier. So it was explained more thorough to me by my surgeon. So anyway, my cardiologist had sent me to we sat down last winter, and he said to me, he's like, "Listen, I want you to meet the surgeon." Like I said, I think he sensed that I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have. So he's like, I'm gonna introduce your surgeon. I'm gonna send him all the information. By some unbelievable blessing, luck, I happened to get Dr. Leonard Girardi out of New York Presbyterian, who I have later found out, you can look him up, I later found out that he is literally one of the best, if not the best around. He runs the cardiac heart department at the New York Presbyterian. He and basically the guy that runs Cleveland Clinic are the best, and I'm so fortunate to have gotten this doctor, and I know I'm in good hands. And really, it's not a worry. It's one less thing to worry about is the actual surgery itself, because I'm in the best hands. So basically, I sit down with him. My wife is with me. Again, really not knowing what he's going to say. He walks in and sits down. You could just tell by his presence. He is, it's like if a celebrity walked in. You could tell he had that presence about him that caught it. It made us have full focus and attention right away. Comes in. He says basically, I looked at all your. This is back in April now. I looked at all your information, all your readings, and the surgery needs to be done right away, sooner than later. So instantly our jaws dropped, and the guy's time is actually extremely valuable. So he began to tell, he's like, listen, we need to do this. It's April. I'd like to do it in July, August, the latest. I wound up pushing it a little further, but did get the okay. And he said, listen, you're going to come in. We're going to give you an angiogram, an aortic catheterization, basically, the day before your surgery. We're going to put a camera up, go in, and we're going to check your blood vessels, see see how we're going to go about with the surgery, and which is standard protocol. He goes, the next day, you'll come in, we'll do the surgery. The surgery entails us it'll be open heart. We will saw open your chest, expose your heart. We hook you up to a bypass. We then stop your heart, and which enables, and right away he said, stop my heart. I'm like, doc, whoa, I mean, am I dead? What do you mean stop my heart? He said, no, it's just, that's how you do open heart surgery. Again, I didn't know. So basically they hook you up to the lung heart bypass, so your blood still flows. Your heart is stopped, which is scary, obviously. We will then replace the valve. You will choose either a biological valve or a mechanical valve. Biological valve is basically pig, cow tissue, could be human tissue. I guess it's whatever they got in that day. And it'll last you 10 to 20 years. Or you could do a mechanical valve, and it's a one-time surgery, but you'll have a metal object in your body, and you'll have to take Coumadin the rest of your life. My decision was easy. I work in construction, and I get nicked up daily, not daily, weekly, whatever. I get cuts, I fall. You're in trenches or whatever, and it's just not I could fall, and that would be a bad scene if you're on Coumadin. So we quickly came to the decision that, yeah, we're going to do the tissue valve, which can buy you, like I said, anywhere from 10 to 20 years. He did say with the tissue valve, you can do a one-time sleeve that you can go in through through the leg and basically sleeve it in up in the heart. So I figured it's going to buy me at least minimum 20, 25 years. So I would figure by then there would be other options. So anyway, so Coumadin wasn't an option for me. That's why I chose the tissue valve. So he said that, we do that to the heart. He said while we're in there, we're going to fix the aortic aneurysm, and then we sew you up, we wire your sternum back, and you're in ICU a couple days, and then you're 4 days in a step-down unit. So you're in the hospital roughly a week, and you go home, and that was it. So, like I said, it's kind of explained everything matter-of-factly to my wife and I, and our jaws were on the table, obviously. And we left there in kind of silence, went home, did our research, spoke a lot, and then spoke to family, friends, got them involved because your circle becomes very important at a time like this. So that's where we're at. Wind up getting a second opinion from Cleveland Clinic. They agreed it would be okay to wait till the fall, which is why I'm waiting till the fall. My work is slows down a lot, so that's why it's easiest for me. I coach football, and that's done. So obviously, those, if it was an urgency, those would be pushed to the side. But with those two things, especially the work, it's just easier to ease the mind in recovery. I think it's going to help me a lot through the winter recovering, knowing that I don't have workers out there, I don't have jobs to worry about. It's going to help me to recover. So that's where I'm at. I'm getting surgery done. My day is November 21st. I go in on the 20th, and that's where we're at. As far as symptoms and everything, this was the crazy part for me. I really didn't have any symptoms at first. Looking back, maybe I did, but they say some of the main symptoms are, going up a flight of stairs. You can hardly get to the top. You're fatigued really easily. High blood pressure. My blood pressure's always been perfect. So I didn't have any very obvious symptoms. So that was what was difficult to me in believing that I needed to get the surgery done, because it was nothing. I was like, if I had these symptoms, I'd go and get it done, but I don't. But numbers don't lie, and that's why the testing was very important. So I have noticed the last few months now that, I have had a lot more fatigue than I ever had, waking up tired. I'm not as energetic. Some days it was tough to put one foot in front of the other. So I don't know if it was more of a mental thing, or, me actually starting to see signs. So I'm at the point where my wife and I, we are getting ready, getting the house situated. We had the benefit of knowing ahead of time that I'm going to have this surgery. I know many people are hit with, they have chest pains, they go to the hospital and they have to do open heart right away or the next day, and their life gets flipped upside down. My only downside is I've had to think about it a lot, which it's okay. I'd rather be prepared. I think a lot of people would rather be prepared. Because the healing process is pretty intense. It's about 6 to 8 weeks. Everything you hear with the surgery is 6 to 8 weeks. So 6 to 8 weeks of not lifting anything heavy over 5 pounds. Basically no driving. You can't sleep in a bed for almost 2 months. Can't lay on your back, can't lay on your side. You gotta live in a recliner. So these are all things that we've been doing our research, and I'll post later on more information on that. But things that have helped me is I've been talking to friends about it a lot. I've been told by multiple people that meditation would help, so I've been looking into that. I've been doing that. But friends and family, I mean, can't stress that enough. Things that I would recommend doing. I've already had a will set up. I would recommend always, regardless of any situation you have in life, you should always have a will. Very important. If you don't have a will, at least have, if you're married, especially if you have kids, have something on paper that gets notarized that, God forbid, something happens. You never know. And the last thing you want to do is leave your family in, in a tough time after dealing with a tough time. So the life insurance, all that stuff. I mean, a lot of times when people go through this, it's a wake-up call. You go through something like this, like, oh, I got to get a will, I got to get life insurance, I got to get something down on paper. And it's like, well, no, you should really have that ahead of time. You don't need a wake-up call. You shouldn't need a wake-up call. And I'll tell you one thing is, if you get diagnosed with something like this and then go for life insurance, it's not going to happen. You won't get it. Very scary, very scary. Thank God I listened to people, and I got life insurance at an early age. And because, I actually did try to I have several policies, but I did try to add on another policy after my diagnosis, like 4 or 5 years ago, and I got denied. They denied me because they said I can get one once I get the surgery and prove that everything is okay, but because this was on paper and now documented, could not get life insurance. So that's pretty scary. Thank God I got it ahead of time. So that's it for now. I'll tell you later on in the vlogs about the emotional roller coasters that I've gone through and my family's gone through. But for now, I'm just getting ready. Countdown.